So this one's going to be a little weird one. I recorded this a few days ago, but I later found out through one of the commenters that the audio was botched on this thing, on the original video. So I deleted the video, and I was going to just scrap it, but instead of doing that, I thought I'd just do a little voice over it, but apologies about that. In my haste, I tried to upload the original video without checking anything on it, and that's exactly what happens for rushing it. It's the audio was off. Looks like the mic that I used needed to be charged, and it wasn't picking up audio. But yeah, this video is essentially going to be a PS5 Pro unboxing. Here I'm just comparing the two boxes of the original SKU, or the original model, and to that of the Pro. Obviously a very poor amateur job at comparing them side by side here, as it's the PS5 Pro box is being cut off from the frame. But I think I was basically just saying that the differences is quite surprising, and it really is. When you pick up the box, you immediately tell the PS5 Pro. I might do a comparison. I'm kind of still wondering what I'm gonna do, because I don't have the real estate. Like the desk that I have is, in terms of width, it doesn't support two consoles being placed on it, so I'm not sure how I'll do it. But the PS5 Pro is about the same weight as the original model, I think. It is the same height, however, it is slightly, it is smaller, though. It's a smaller unit. In terms of its depth, the console is much smaller. The Pro is, which is surprising, considering how when you saw the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, the PS4 Pro was much of a larger console. So I honestly thought it was going to be the PS5 Pro was going to be more of a beast. In terms of its size. But yeah, I think here I was just sort of talking over just reading what the box says on the description of the box. I think I was going over the asterisk marks there, because there were some asterisks on the some of the claims or statements on the packaging. But it said PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. Which is the AI enhanced resolution feature on the Pro. It talks about optimizing the console's performance mode. But I've gotten a chance to play a few games on the Pro right now, and like I was saying in the video, and I say it later on towards the end, but I don't recommend you buying this if you're like in a situation like I am, in which I don't have a 120 hertz supported monitor, display, or TV, etc. So if you're in a position like me, definitely not worth it. Or maybe wait until you purchase a monitor display capable of outputting such frame rate. For me, I have my 4K TV from like 2016, which is pretty nice. It's a nice TV. It's probably I think it's an X930D. It's fairly decent, but it's not, it's not as good as any of the monitors available in, today's age. I'm shooting to get an OLED. I've been kind of looking to get one, as I kind of talk about it in this video, but I think I have other priorities on the list before I get that. I did mention in this video that the reason that I picked this up was because I recently, or at least I think I talked about it in the video, but I won a couple of gift cards at my work. My job is pretty generous, and it's a great company. I work at a fintech company, and our organization is pretty modest and generous with like rewarding or incentivizing their employees and stuff. So I won a couple of gift cards. So I won them actually literally days before this, because I talk about it in the video, but I originally pre-ordered this console on PlayStation Direct, and I pre-ordered the day it went up, thinking that it was gonna sell out. But by the time it hit lunchtime that day, I remember thinking like, back in 2016 when the Pro was announced, the same thing happened and it never sold out. So I was, I sort of started kind of getting that thought, and I said, this is probably not going to sell out. I probably should just cancel my pre-order. So I did. I canceled it, and yeah, that was the right thing to do. I canceled it, and I opted for Amazon instead. And thankfully, well, I didn't get Amazon right away, but I canceled it up until I won those gift cards at my job, and it was a substantial amount. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna purchase it, and obviously, thankfully, I didn't pay full price for it, which is the only reason why I got it. Ultimately, I was planning on probably picking up a TV by the time I did this, but I again other priorities. So otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten this such expensive, expensive device or machine. Definitely an item you buy when you have money to splurge. Like I said, because of the hardware that I have, the TV, I have not been able to really tell you what it can do, which is pretty silly. But here I was struggling with the box. I was having a hard time opening the box. I took off the box from the other box, thinking that you had to do that, but I realized when I saw an unboxing video, I was like, hey, you just need to do this flap thing. But silly me, totally forgot about that. Yeah, I was looking at the spec sheet there for specifications. But anyway, how was I going? Totally lost my train of thought. reason I really wanted to try DMC5 SE or DMC5 Special Edition on this. After I watched the video from Digital Foundry on it. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I can certainly see a difference even with the monitor that I have now, or the TV display that I have now. Apologies. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. My son in the background in his room. It's been a little loud. But what was it? Yeah, then trying DMC5 SE. I was able to, on this DMC5 SE has a ray tracing mode where you either select graphics or performance. So you can also turn it off. And for the graphics mode, based on what I'm seeing, like, you know, with my eyes, duh, right? On display, it looks like it's between the frames that I'm seeing are between those of like 40 to 60. You know, it doesn't really hit 60, but you know, it's kind of unlocked, going at between 40 and 60 in terms of the frames and animations that I'm seeing on screen. But the game looks great overall. I think somebody did a video too on that game, because I was also looking for other information on it, but somebody did a video and it was going at 120 smooth with no dips, with full ray tracing on the Pro. Again, my monitor or display doesn't have 120 Hz capability, so I'm not able to confirm, but it definitely looks like it was running much smoother on the Pro, which is a great thing. I can't wait. Oh yeah, I was just here on the console. I missed it rather, but it looks like it was manufactured in July. These things were just sitting on the on warehouses. I immediately remove the default plate to add the disk drive there. I had to film this in a very well, not. It was just an odd angle from the traditional setup that I have. So I unfortunately did not get the disk drive unboxing in frame. was relatively easy to install. Sony did a pretty good job at making it beginner friendly, or at least for someone who's not too familiar with switching out graphics cards and stuff like that on the PC. I have no knowledge on that stuff. I know a lot of you out there do, though. Yeah, that piece there, that particular section or corner piece that looks like an octagon has to fit in place with its little slot on the console. And also taking off those face plates on this console is a little scary, I gotta say. It's like bending in a way that it feels like it's just gonna break the plastic on the faceplate, but it doesn't. It feels like it very much so, more so than the original fat model that I have. I think here I was just flipping through the pamphlet to actually confirm that I'm opening it the right way. I didn't want to damage it. It's pretty scary, especially on camera. Surely thought I was gonna snap, but thankfully that's not the case. It snaps on very easily, and then you just reset or add the stripe faceplate back on. Just gotta put it back at an angle. I think I struggled with this a bit. But yeah, guys, it's an interesting machine. It's definitely, obviously more powerful, but I unfortunately have not been able to take advantage of its capabilities due to my display. So if you're on the same boat like me, take it from somebody who didn't even pay full price from this. It's not worth it if you don't have the proper hardware. So make sure you handle that first and then invest in this machine. Even then, the upgrades are somewhat minimal. I haven't tried too many games. I've tried about 4 or 5. I haven't really had much time this weekend on trying it. Just been doing other things. But from the few games that I have, DMC5 being one of the first, it's pretty neat. At least with what I have, what I can see. I don't know if I'm seeing or doing something wrong, but I don't think the Silent Hill 2 game, remake game, has gone the patch. Oh yeah, I was measuring the faceplates to see if they were the right size. I was sort of struggling putting this together because there's a gap. It just didn't look right, but I realized as I was doing it, that gap is so you can put the rubber footies on there, so you can set the console horizontally or lay it horizontally on a flat surface. But anyway, Silent Hill 2, the remake. That game looks it looks good on the Pro, but there's definitely some issues. I'm not as technically savvy or as articulate as some of you guys are with like describing some of the frame dips and what you're seeing on the screen, but in some of the lighting effects in the game, particularly, I don't know exactly where I think I'm like halfway through the game, but there's a section in which you're roaming through the streets of Silent Hill. It's dark out, and you come across, it's pitch black, and the only light that you see are the stoplights. But the stoplight and some of the street lamps reflections on the puddles on the floor, they're like jittery, and they're almost like kind of struggling to just display correctly on screen, and it gets very very pixelated, I should say. Pixel is the right word, or even a word, but it's strange, because other than that, I mean, the game plays well. It looks smooth. I think it's running at like between 45 to 60. I'm really not sure. I have no way of measuring. I don't have that technology, but from what I'm seeing in terms of performance wise, it looks fine. I didn't play it far enough in which I got into a combat encounter, which typically I would assume increases the frame rate or causes the dips in frame rate. But it looks fine. But what I wanted to say, I think with Silent Hill 2 remake, I don't think it has a proper PS5 Pro update as of yet. I think one is coming. I just don't think it has one yet. So it'll be interesting to see. I did also try, just randomly, the Callisto Protocol on the Pro, which I think has a PS5 Pro update on it. I'm not entirely sure. I think I saw it somewhere on Reddit that it did, and I installed the whole game. It doesn't say anything about PS5 Pro, so it's hard for me to tell. I'm just basing it on what I saw on Reddit. But that game runs well, looks fine. Yeah. Again, it's hard to really judge it without a proper display. I know I keep saying that, but it's just the truth. But overall, I mean, the system is snappier, boots up quicker, loads up faster. That's one thing too that I just failed to mention on the DMC5, because DMC5, it's one of my favorite games, so I obviously organically just played it more than any of the other games. So I did notice between like missions and menus, like the loading was like non-existent, kind of like the PS5 standard model, but even more so, in which really they should just get rid of the loading screens and just fade to black. It was kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, the loading was almost non-existent on the Pro, unless I'm forgetting on how it was on the base model. But just wrapping up this video here. Take a proper look at it. I'll do another video on this. I'll have follow up, maybe a comparison, but hope you enjoyed. Take care, guys.